So, if you're in a growth stage company, you know the feeling. The easy wins have kind of dried up. You've got this amazing product, but trying to scale the sales team, it feels like you're just throwing things at a wall to see what sticks. In this explainer, we're going to talk about how to scale with precision, not just by hiring more people and hoping for the best.
Right? This is the question that literally keeps founders and sales leaders up at night. You've done the hard part. You've found a product market fit. People actually love what you sell. So why isn't hiring more salespeople leading to a huge jump in revenue? Well, the thing is, the answer is actually pretty simple. Real growth isn't just about headcount. It's about having the right strategy.
All right, so let's dig in. Let's talk about what this problem actually looks and feels like when you're in the thick of it. It usually shows up as a few really common and, let's be honest, super frustrating symptoms that I bet many of you are going to recognize immediately. I mean, sound familiar? Maybe you've got this product that should be taking off like a rocket ship, but your sales numbers have just stalled. Or maybe the founders, who could sell this thing in their sleep, are now totally maxed out. Look, these aren't just little operational hiccups. These are big cracks in your foundation, and they're telling you that you need a much, much deeper strategic change. So how do we fix this? Well, you've got to move beyond that gut feel. Seriously, the intuition that got you from 0 to 100 customers, it's probably not going to get you to the next level. It's time to start asking some really hard questions, the kind of questions that actually push your strategy forward. And this is a big one. Think about it. The scrappy, do-it-all team that landed your first customers, they might not have the specific skills you need to land your next 1,000. Just recognizing that is a huge first step toward building a team that's actually built to scale with you. And let's be real, random feedback sessions and a few check-ins here and there, that's not a coaching strategy. So the real question is, how do you build a system that helps everyone get better, not just your A players? How do you turn coaching into something that predictably drives revenue? And this is where it gets real, financially speaking. It is expensive to hire and fire people, but it's also expensive to invest in training that goes nowhere. This is a decision you have to make with data, not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. It's absolutely critical for your bottom line. And finally, this one's huge. How do you get your sales leaders and your HR team to speak the same language? You know how it is, right? Too often, they're in their own worlds. HR is focused on culture, and sales is just focused on the number. But to really scale, you need a single, unified talent strategy where everybody is pulling in the same direction. Okay, so if we're throwing gut feel out the window, what do we replace it with? The solution, my friends, is a structured framework, something that can answer all those tough questions with cold, hard data and give you the clarity you need to finally move forward with confidence. Just look at the difference here. On one hand, you've got the old way. It's all reactive, right? Performance dips, so you just hire more people. You spot a skill gap, you buy some generic training program. But the strategic way, it's proactive. It starts with precision diagnostics to figure out what the real problem is, which then leads to targeted, data-driven investments in your people. And let's be clear, this is not some generic one-size-fits-all training course you buy off the shelf. This is a systematic method. Think of it like an operating system for your sales talent. It's all about deeply understanding who you have, what they're truly good at, where the real gaps are, and then figuring out exactly how to close those gaps in a way that actually helps you make more money. So what does this actually look like? Well, you move from just talking about it to doing it. First, you put your reps in realistic deal simulations. You throw them into the fire, so to speak, make them handle a tough objection from a CFO or navigate a crazy procurement process. Then you score them against a really clear set of skills. And based on that data, you classify them. Only then, once you have all that information, do you create these hyper-specific individual coaching plans. It completely takes the guesswork out of the equation. Okay, now we get to my favorite part. This is where the magic really happens. We're going to dive into a core piece of this framework, actually defining what great looks like for the different sales roles you have inside your company. I mean, it sounds simple, right? Not all salespeople are the same. But think about it. The person who's an amazing hunter who just loves chasing down new logos, they might be completely lost if you ask them to be a farmer and grow your existing accounts. This framework forces you to get crystal clear on what makes each role unique, which is the absolute foundation for building a truly high-performing team. And here's what you get out of it. Based on all that data from the audit, every single person on your team gets placed into one of 4 tracks. No more vague feedback like, yeah, Bob's doing okay, but Susan's struggling a bit. No. Instead, you get this crystal clear, actionable plan for every single person, from your rock stars who need to be challenged to the folks who might need some immediate help. Now, this all sounds great in theory, but I know what you're thinking. What about the results? Let's talk about the actual measurable impact this has on a business, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? The numbers. First off, the results come fast. We're talking a massive productivity gain of 15 to 20% for every rep that gets coached, and that's within just 90 days. That happens because you're focusing your coaching exactly where it's needed most, instead of that generic one-size-fits-all stuff. Second, it's just plain smart with your money. You know how crazy expensive it is to hire a new rep, right? The recruiting fees, the training, the ramp-up time, it's huge. By coaching up someone you already have, you can save 30 to 35% of that cost. Plus, you get to keep all their institutional knowledge. It's a no-brainer. And here it is, the big one. This stuff directly impacts the top line. When your team executes deals better and manages their pipeline with more discipline, it leads directly to what every single sales leader wants, a 10 to 15% jump in win rates. That is a total game changer. But beyond all the spreadsheets and numbers, there's something else, something that might be even more valuable. It's confidence. It's the ability for a leader to stand up in a board meeting and say, here's our talent strategy, here's the data that backs it up, and here's the return on investment we expect. That is how you build a company that lasts. And look, don't just take my word for it. Listen to what a chief revenue officer at a fast-growing software company had to say about this. The words that jump out to me are clarity, invest, and respectfully transition. This process gives you a data-backed and, frankly, a more humane way to make those tough people decisions that you just have to make if you want to grow. So I want to leave you with one final thought, one question to really chew on as you think about your own team. Are you just trying to build a team that's bigger by adding more bodies to the sales floor and hoping it works out? Or are you trying to build a team that's engineered to be better? A team that is strategically built, coached, and optimized to win? The choice is yours, and honestly, it's going to define the entire future of your company.